Hi, it's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to January 11th, 2022, Career Coach Office Hours. I spend time Tuesdays and Fridays talking with you and answering questions about job search, hiring more effectively, management, leadership, and helping you deal with different workplace issues. And I must say, excuse me for being a few seconds late. I try to be punctual with this thing, but I couldn't find the mouse. It's a weird thing. My mouse was not appearing. So I was in an awkward situation where I'm trying to get onto the start the broadcast and couldn't start the broadcast. That's simple. So I apologize for being a little bit late. And if I caused you any anxiety, I apologize. I'm a nice guy. So I've been starting the show with a coffee toast. And I'm going to simply say a toast for all of you who persevere. I was watching last night's college football game between Georgia and Alabama. And I'll simply say the story of the Georgia quarterback is an incredible lesson in dealing with roadblocks, persevering, not quitting. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. And it's not just simply in the game, but not being seen as a player. Graduating high school, only one scholarship offer was from a school that I'm sure he considered dismal, and years and years of fighting to be seen until he finally had an opportunity to play. And it took until this season until he finally got on the field and led his team to a championship despite overcoming some difficult times in the game itself and deciding I'm not going to be the reason we lose today, and turning things around and playing with confidence and helping lead his team to a win. So there are people out there watching or who will watch who can resonate with that, who are not seen for all that you're capable of and get passed over time and time again. He didn't always stay at Georgia. He left for other places where he could get the opportunity before returning to Georgia and having his chance. So perseverance, determination, dealing with roadblocks, wonderful lessons for last night's game and wonderful lessons for your career. If you're not seen, go to some place where you are seen and appreciated. And I'm going to give you a toast. For those of you who keep fighting the good fight, trying hard to be your best, my salute to you. And if you're watching, want to leave a message or put a message into chat with a question or just want to say hi, happy to hear from you. So I'll just simply say I've got a bunch of questions in the queue, and I'm going to add more questions as we go along from those of you who are in chat. So first question is, I have an interview for a branch banker position at, I'm not going to mention the name of the bank tomorrow. I was thinking of wearing a short sleeve polo and khakis. Do I need to wear a full suit? Go for the suit. There's no way you can change their thinking about you if you go to the casual look and they're in suits. You've lost at that point because they don't think you were serious. However, if you dress the part that they would expect, and you can go online and find out what the correct attire is for their interviews, but I'm pretty sure you need to suit up for this thing. And I'm not sure about the tie. You'll get an answer online for that. But definitely go for the suit because that's the expectation of bankers in the office. And maybe once you get to working for them, the jacket comes off and it's just a shirt and tie, a collared shirt and a tie. But whatever it is, for the purposes of the interview, you always look upscale and you can always scale back. Let's go for the next question. How do I know if I have leadership qualities? Well, the simplest thing I can tell you is to observe how others see you. The simplest way to know that you're a leader is whether you have followers. Followers are the indication of leadership. Not having followers, not having people who follow your lead, you're not a leader yet. So if you notice people who listen to you, who follow your advice, who take your direction, when it comes up naturally, you've got leadership qualities. They may need refinement, but we're just talking about the base qualities here. And that's one of those indicators that I think will resonate with most of you. Again, you're not a leader until you have followers. I'm going to pause here for a second and say for the many of you who are watching here and you're lurking, feel free to put a question into chat. I'd be happy to answer it. What's the best answer for why you left your job? I think it's pretty easy. The best answer is the truth, but packaged in a way where they understand it. So I was talking with someone recently who was let go for a C-level position, and he achieved great results during his 1 year with the organization. Like he increased sales by 60%. And got the firm recognized and acclaimed in multiple countries as an up and coming brand. And when he asked me the question, he wasn't let go for performance reasons, but I'm not going to go into the details. I have a hunch what it really was. And no matter the question, he posed that question, what do I tell people? And the answer became, I don't know about you, but when you improve sales by 60% and get this kind of acknowledgement of the brand as being an up and comer, like amongst the top 5 brands in the world in our category, when we were invisible up until that point, you'd think that would be considered successful, but they didn't. So in their infinite wisdom, they decided to let me go. Notice what I did there. I stated a positive and then went to their perception. Now, that was in a firing. Here, you may not be in that position right now where you can speak about those kind of accolades, but you can talk about, I've been working for an organization where I've been putting in 70-hour weeks now for the longest time. I've gotten results that have increased sales by this, or reduced costs by that, or improved profitability by a certain percent. And so far, I've been rewarded with a handshake. I haven't gotten any acknowledgement. No promotional opportunities have been presented to me. I've been asking, I've been looking, but they kind of take me for granted at this point. So I'm looking for an organization that sees value in my ability to do this kind of work, can provide me with that kind of an upgrade in opportunity that my current firm won't. Notice I'm talking about the successes and the disappointment. I'm not saying my boss is an idiot. I'm underpaid. I deserve to make more. No one cares about that kind of stuff. How are you going to solve their problem? It becomes part of this. And the fact that you've had successes previously goes a long way toward creating justification and explaining what it is that's prompting you to look for something else. Question number 4, can exit interviews be shared with managers? Yes, and I would expect they would be. So if you're ranting about your current boss and being hypercritical of them, hyper to me means unnecessarily critical of your current manager, if you go over the top, I'm sure someone will relay that information and make your last 2 weeks miserable. Um, it- remember, exit interviews are designed to see whether or not there are things that they could improve upon or whether there's a problem institutionally they need to deal with. So, for example, the abusive manager, the manager who doesn't listen. I can go on with a lengthy list. The haranguing manager, the one who calls you at 2 a.m. and is disappointed that you don't pick up the phone. They want to hear about that kind of stuff so that they can try remedying it so they don't lose more people. but there's no benefit for you in being overly gratuitous with your advice or your opinions. Instead, keep it very simple. I have a better opportunity elsewhere. I became susceptible to a new opportunity because, and you lay out a couple of things that were problematic for you and decide to look elsewhere. Keep it very simple. The fewer words, the better. In an interview with a big firm, I felt like the interviewer was condescending, so I hung up on her. What do I do now if I want to continue the interview process? Give up. You're done. It's over for you. There is no chance for them to consider you for another role or for this role. You were rude, obnoxious, and ridiculous in how you conducted yourself. You thought they were condescending. If I were you in the conversation, I would have very simply said, I'm a little confused here. I'm sensing that you're not pleased with my answers. Am I misreading something here? And thus, it's not about being condescending. It's about their pleasure or displeasure, or whether they're just distracted, that's prompting them to behave in a way that's giving you that signal. Don't go to you have no chance of getting a continued interview with this person. Give it up. It's gone. I've got another question. What are your thoughts on digital interactive CVs and resumes? Someone found the site and they've got two opinions or they're stuck in two minds. It's one thing if you're sending it to an organization that's going to value a digital resume or a digital CV or an interactive CV. It's another thing if you're going to be submitting it to an applicant tracking system that just wants the facts. They just want data that it can parse into their applicant tracking system. So I would say if you want to be found, if you want your resume to be accepted by an applicant tracking system, keep it to a standard one. If you're going to be submitting resumes as opposed to uploading them to an applicant tracking system, you need to have a standard resume for the applicant tracking system. And you can use the interactive one to demonstrate some of your creativity for sending it to a person. But do you think a bank is going to care? Do you think an investment bank is going to care? How about an insurance company? Do you think they're a manufacturer? They're really going to care whether it's an interactive resume, aren't they? No, none of those are going to care. That's why if you're going to use it, it's for a particular segment of the market, not for broad distribution. What do you say in a cover letter when you're not totally qualified? Well, what I do is I lay out very simply what my background is and how it fits the role. My thing is when I tell people to write a cover letter, I'm forwarding my resume to you or I'm uploading my resume to you for the position of such and such. This is how my background fits the role. Flush left is the skill and the functionality of the job as outlined in the ad. Flush right is how long and how recently you've done that, or you've used that particular skill or technology or talent, so that this way it's very clear for them. I tell people to omit things they don't have experience with, but to use the cover letter, may be clear about what you are experienced with and how long you've done it. And then from there, you close out by saying, I hope to hear from you, but if I haven't within a day or two, I'll follow up with a quick phone call or email to you. And thus, what you're able to do is to lay out in positive terms what you've done that relates and avoid the ones that don't relate. Now, let me also say that if it's a key dimension of the job, like they say, must have, and you don't have it, you can probably take a pass. Like if the title of the position is, I'm going to use um, a title for when I did technology recruiting. If it says uh, program manager, um, whatever the business function is, must have 14 years of experience managing whatever it is, and you've got none, it's probably not going to be anything you should waste your time on or waste their time reading. If it's, I don't have 14 years, I've got 10, you can be clear 10 years. That may be enough for them. And they're shooting for 14. You get where I'm coming from? The idea is to emphasize the positive, eliminate the negative, and just focus in on what you can do for them. Next question. So far, I've got 3 more questions. What can I do if my employer held my paycheck when refusing to do an exit interview after I quit? So there's a couple of things that you can do. Before you walk out the door, I would ask for my check. They say you didn't do an exit interview. I said, so what? I worked here. I said, well, I'm not going to give it to you. Would you like me to contact the state or the city and have them make you do that and give you fines for doing that? Your choice. I'll do that. I'll also file suit against you. I'll also go onto social media, and I prefer not doing that. But you're leaving me with little choice. I've earned the money. The fact that I'm not prepared to do an exit interview, well, I'll do an exit interview now. You're a jerk. This is why I'm leaving. Give me my check now. Okay? Your behavior and your attitude toward employees is why I'm leaving. This is my exit interview. Can I have my check, please? And you can do that publicly. I prefer not. I prefer doing that behind closed doors. I would say, you want an exit interview? I'll give you an exit interview right now. Let's go into your office. And I better have my check handed to me at the end of the conversation. Otherwise, I'm definitely going to escalate this. So that's how I would handle it. And if you don't have the strength to do something like that, for whatever the reason, you can simply say, I've earned the money. Exit interviews are superfluous to my job. If you want me to give an exit interview right now, oh, this was a wonderful experience for me. I learned so much here. And you present it in a flat affect kind of way, in a flat voice. I learned so much here. I was recruited by another firm that was willing to pay me $25,000 more than you. I wish you good luck. Now hand me my check. Be sarcastic about it. They deserve it. Are recruiters, I have this in corporate recruiters, the ones that decide whether to hire you? No. Hiring managers, by definition, are the ones who decide whether or not you are hired. They may influence the hire. For example, if in your first interview with them, they screen you out, they have the ability to reject you. And as a result, they can say no, but on the other hand, they can't say yes. They can't be the sole determinant for whether you're hired. What they do is influence the decision making. They influence the salary that's being proposed. They do a lot of things along those lines, but they're not the decision maker about the hire. They can try and get you more money from the hiring manager. They can do a lot of things. But the question is, are they the ones that make the decision about whether you're hired? And the answer is no. Final question for today. As of now, the job application says, are you subject to a non-compete? Does this mean if I have already signed a non-compete with my current employer, or if I'm willing to sign a non-compete with them? The answer is with the current employer, because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to be in a situation where you're someone who they cannot hire because your non-compete precludes them from hiring or precludes you from going to work there. They don't want to be in a situation where they're defending you against a lawsuit. They don't want to be in defense of their hiring you because you were under a non-compete and had not disclosed it. If you don't disclose it and you are hired and there's a lawsuit, they can fire you because you put them into a situation where you're subject to a lawsuit. So they're asking up front, are you under a non-compete? The answer is no. That's the way you answer the question. They're not asking about whether you'd sign one with them. It's about whether you're under one now. So taking a quick look at chat, I'm not seeing anything there. So I'll simply say I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. If you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook is alive, click the like button, share it, do something that lets people know it was worthwhile. Leave a comment for me. Tell me that it's been helpful for you. Also, visit my website, thebiggamehunter.us. There's a lot there that you can watch, listen to, or read that'll help you in your search. There are courses you can order from me that will help you in many aspects of your career and your job search. Again, that's at thebiggamehunter.us. While you're there, you can also schedule time for a free discovery call for coaching or schedule time for actual coaching for which I'll charge you. I'd love to help you. Lastly, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. Have a terrific day, and most importantly, be great.